Vinícius Júnior, absolutely magnificent.
What happens when a player goes from Ballon d'Or favourite to being whistled by his own fans in less than a year? That's the brutal reality at the Santiago Bernabéu. Vinícius Júnior, the same man who danced past defenders in a Champions League final and looked destined to carry Madrid's future, is suddenly on the bench, struggling for form and watching someone else take his crown. That someone is Kylian Mbappé. The Frenchman hasn't just arrived in Madrid, he's taken over. In goals, in leadership, in presence. And here's the shock. The very system that once made Vinícius hero now seems ready to make Mbappé thrive. At Real Madrid, kings aren't celebrated forever, they're replaced. And right now, the power shift couldn't be clearer. But will Kylian Mbappé take the crown with the legendary number 10 shirt at Madrid? That's what we're talking about today, so let's start. Irony runs deep in Madrid. For years they chased Kylian Mbappé, turning every summer into a transfer saga, making fans believe, then breaking their hearts, then trying again. When the deal finally went through in 2024, it felt like the Bernabéu had its next Cristiano, the biggest Galactico since the glory days of Zidane, Figo and Ronaldo Nazario. Yeah, Mbappé was supposed to be the missing piece, the superstar to knock Barcelona off their perch in Spain and PSG off theirs in Europe. The one who would complete the picture. But here's the twist. In his debut season, Madrid won nothing domestically, no league, no Copa del Rey, not even a Supercopa. The irony couldn't be sharper. After waiting years for their dream signing, Madrid looked like they had signed the missing piece of somebody else's puzzle. For 12 long months, the questions grew louder. Had Mbappé really improved Madrid? Or had his arrival only unsettled Vinícius Júnior, who just a year earlier was considered as the best player in the world? Was this the price of chasing a superstar? But doubts don't last long at Madrid. In his second season, Mbappé has shut everyone up. 6 goals already, 2 calm penalties to win a tough Champions League opener, and 50 goals in just 64 games. At this club, penalties aren't luck, they are power, and Mbappé has taken them all. When Mbappé steps up while Vinícius Júnior stands aside, the message is brutal but clear. This is no longer Vinícius' Madrid. This is Mbappé's throne now. When Carlo Ancelotti was in charge, Real Madrid thrived on chaos. Quick transitions, explosive counters, and wide open spaces where Vinícius Júnior could burn defenders alive. It was a system built to unleash his speed and flair, and for a while, it worked to perfection. He scored the Champions League winning goal in 2024. He terrorized fullbacks every weekend, and he looked untouchable. But then came Xabi Alonso, and with him, a new system. Control, possession, territory. Madrid's days of waiting to pounce were over. Now the forwards were asked to press, track back, rotate positions, and sacrifice their personal rhythm for collective dominance. That's where the balance tilted. Mbappé can adapt. He's more complete, able to drop deep, link play, or finish inside the box. He thrives in tight spaces, making intelligent runs, and never looks uncomfortable when the game slows down. Vinícius looks trapped. Take away the open field and you take away his oxygen. Instead of sprinting into space, he's now forced to beat 2 or 3 men in confined areas, and his numbers have fallen off a cliff. 1 goal in 6 Champions League knockout matches last season told its own story. Alonso knew this would happen. Staff insiders say he designed his system with Mbappé at the heart of it, while Vinícius became the puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. That's why, even in early season tests, he hasn't hesitated to bench the Brazilian, leaving him shocked and frustrated. The contrast is brutal. Mbappé looks empowered, while Vinícius looks sidelined. One man's system is another man's struggle, and in modern Madrid, system always wins. Sometimes football's biggest battles aren't fought on the pitch, they're fought off pitch. This summer, Mbappé was handed the number 10 shirt. Normally, club policy is clear. Senior players choose first. Arda had been at Madrid longer and wanted it, but in the end, hierarchy bent to superstardom. Mbappé got his France number, and with it, a public coronation. Now compare that to Vinícius. He's being whistled at the Bernabéu, an unthinkable fall for the man who once lit up Europe. His contract renewal is pending, his camp demanding Mbappé-level money. The club isn't budging. In Madrid, reputation doesn't guarantee leverage. Inside the dressing room, the shift is just as clear. Mbappé isn't just scoring, he's commanding. Taking penalties, even stepping over free kicks. At Madrid, those moments define who the team looks at when the game is on the line. Meanwhile, Vinícius watches. Not frozen out, but no longer the hero he once was. They praise each other publicly, but the truth is plain. They're not connecting, and the power is moving one way only. And if history has taught us anything, Madrid never makes space for two kings. Sooner or later, one has to bend, and we know who is going to submit. We know that Real Madrid has never been a club for sentiment. It doesn't matter what you did last season, or even last month. What matters is what you're doing now, and who can carry the badge when the pressure is suffocating. That's why Mbappé's rise feels inevitable. Madrid isn't just rewarding his goals, it's rewarding his presence. He plays like the star they paid for, and in a club where symbols matter, penalties, shirt numbers, decisive moments, he ticks every box. 50 goals in his first 64 matches is not just impressive, it's historic. Only Cristiano Ronaldo reached that mark quicker in modern Madrid history. When the game hangs in the balance, the ball goes to him. That's hierarchy in its purest form. And Vinícius? His story is just the flip side of the same coin. 1 year you're the darling of Europe, the face of Madrid's future, the player who couldn't stop scoring. A few bad months later, you're hearing whistles from your own fans. From January to May last season, he managed just 3 league goals. A shocking drop for someone once tipped for the Ballon d'Or. It's cruel, but it's also the Bernabéu way. Madrid fans don't live in nostalgia, they demand domination. If you dip, they remind you instantly. From the outside, some might call it ruthless, but that ruthlessness is what built this club. It's why legends like Raúl, Casillas, even Ronaldo Nazario eventually felt the axe. No one, not even icons, are immune to replacement. And now, Vinícius is finding out the same lesson. There's no question about who Real Madrid belong to right now. Mbappé hasn't just stepped into the throne, he's slammed the door shut behind him. He's not sharing it, not with Vinícius, not with anyone. The irony is, they could be devastating together. But football doesn't always deal in harmony. Sometimes it deals in succession. The wider narrative is this: Madrid doesn't do duality. It crowns kings, then replaces them when the next one arrives. Vinícius was yesterday's story. Mbappé is today's headline. And at this club, headlines are all that matter. That's it for now. Subscribe for more deep dive stories that cut through the noise. And let us know in the comments if you're a fan of Mbappé. And what do you think of his future?